Hi, this is Doug and Cindy. Welcome to Help Me Help Mama livecast. Thanks for joining in today. It's a beautiful day here in Arkansas. It was cold earlier this week, but now it's nice and warm. It'll be nice and warm till what?
Friday.
Friday. It'll be cold again, up and down. So today we're going to talk about, and I've got the newsletter entitled Early Alzheimer's Home Care Checklist, but Cindy tells me that's not the correct.
We had to shorten it.
Yeah,
We
so
had to
I
shorten
think
the
Matt
title.
called it Alzheimer's Home Care Checklist, and really it should be checklist for a person that's exhibiting early stages,
The signs
the
of
signs of
cognitive impairment.
yeah. So if it's just starting, and there's a little example in the that we have in our newsletter. By the way, if you're not getting our newsletter, you can go to help.mom, not .com, but help.mom/cc and sign up for it. It's free. But there's an example given in today's newsletter where a guy named Bob was trying to help his mom. Either fortunately or unfortunately, he didn't have any siblings. That can go both ways.
It usually does.
And sometimes siblings help, sometimes not so much. Bob didn't have anyone. It was just him, and his dad's already deceased, so it's just him and mom. And mom was like a corporate executive in her professional career, so she was one of those people that was like calm, cool, collected, perfectly organized. Everything's perfect in every way. And now she's like declining.
Well, she cared for Dad in your newsletter, right?
Right?
And Dad passed away. And we all know that being a caregiver can create a lot of stress in your life, and stress impacts your health. So, did that have anything to do with Mom's cognitive
Probably
ability?
so. Probably so. I mean, a lot of stress, and a lot of times the statistics we've seen and heard, sometimes the helper spouse or caregiver spouse
The
dies
well
first.
spouse?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dies
yeah,
first. But
yeah.
she didn't die first, but it obviously impacted her health um, a lot. And so this several months after Dad died, uh, Bob noticed that something wasn't quite right with Mom.
And if you're living with someone, if your spouse starts to doing things that you're just kind of wondering about, why are they doing that? Why did he ask me that same question 3 times this morning? That's one thing because you're with them 24/7, right? At least in the same house. But if this is Bob stopping in once in a while, checking on Mom, and he's seeing things, my guess is there's probably a whole lot more going on in the background that he doesn't see
Right.
because he's not there 24/7.
So the thing you notice, and we talk about that, in one of the tips, which is family assessment, one of the things you're looking for is changes, not like, a particular behavior, whether anyone would do that or no one would do that. What you're looking for is, Bob, knows his mom, and did she do that? Did she, what was her behavior? So some things he noticed that was uncharacteristic for her. Again, she was her whole adult career, corporate executive, real buttoned up, proper. He noticed all of a sudden his mom, you know, wearing the same clothes several days in a row. Uh, she took pride in her cooking, and now she's cooking infrequently, never cook meals for herself.
Go out to eat more.
Yeah, and a lot more junk food.
A lot more, yeah, cereal, stuff like that. No nutrition in it.
Unkept appearance, unkept house, bills piling up, apparently unpaid, unexplained scrapes on her car. Again, this is this Bob knowing mom like he knows her because she's his mom, right?
Yeah.
Uh, he thought none of this is like mom. Matter of fact, all of these behaviors is like 180 degrees difference from mom. So, and there's other, like you said, other stuff going on too. So, But Bob thought, okay, something's going on. So he suggested, and fortunately she agreed. They set a doctor's appointment, and she allowed Bob to come with her, to her primary care physician. And the primary care physician just did a few tests, and his opinion was that mom may have some sort of early dementia. So he gave her some medication and referred her to a specialist, the geriatric physician. But that was like several months down the road. It's hard to get in to see some of these people
It
sometimes.
is. It is.
And so, in the meantime, Bob's back at the ranch. Bob's thinking, okay, it's just me and mom. Now I know she may have early dementia, so maybe that's what's going on. So what do I do? And we've got a few tips here for Bob.
If I were Bob, I'd go through a thorough checklist. And when I say thorough, I mean at least 2-page checklist. This is the one we recommend. It goes through a lot of the activities of daily living that mom, it's like when you're 18, you get out of the house, you start taking care of yourself. You learn how to drive, manage your monies, you cook for yourself, you shop for groceries, you do all your laundry. Mom needs to maintain her home. How many of these kind of things is she having a little bit of difficulty with? That's for a general assessment. And then once you go through the general assessment, look at if there is an area that's of specific concern. For example, driving. There are people that I would not want to be on the road with if I know they're driving.
Yeah.
It's frightening.
And God only knows how many people with Alzheimer's are out on the road right now,
And
and
they may have to be. Their kids may live out of state.
yeah,
And if they can't drive to the grocery store, I mean, even for me, using the self check at the checkout at the grocery store it's frustrating sometimes because you're not supposed to laugh.
anyway,
Anyway,
it's
if you
hard.
can imagine someone that's 80 years old and having a little bit of cognitive challenge trying to do things like that. And we are 2 blocks from a train that sometimes there's a train going this way, and right on the track next to it, a train going that way. I mean, both directions. This is frightening for a driver that may be slightly impaired. Um, that's one of the assessments I would do for
So
sure.
there's several assessments. The family assessment that Cindy's talking about, just in general, you're looking at, what are the changes? Your loved one, like what are they struggling with now that they could do well several months ago? That maybe several months ago mom was having no problem, like keeping all of her bills paid, driving to the grocery store, getting groceries, bringing it back. She was having no problem with all of this. Now she's struggling. And Bob noticed that. Like, mom never used to struggle with these things. So,
Right.
okay.
Matthew's got a question.
Kathy Blaze.
Hey,
Kathy,
Kathy.
hi. Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, self-neglect is one of the first clues that other things are going on. Meds not taken, bills piling up, doctor appointments is needed, checklist and safety evaluation is a good idea.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kat.
Kathy.
Yeah, thank you. Kathy
Abs-
is has been a caregiver for a while. And so
I
Kathy,
bet you've seen it all.
oh
too.
yeah, Kathy knows this
Yeah.
stuff and has seen all of this stuff. So thank you for that, Kathy. Appreciate it. But yeah, and we see people, the Bobs of the world that they're trying their best. They just don't know what to do. Like, mom needs some help. I want to help, but and then when Bob brings it up to mom, mom, I think you need some help. She's may
Yeah. It's going to
think
go
you need to
one
fly a
direction.
kite. I think no. So
Yeah. Or it may go the other direction. She may say, well, I need help with this, just one thing.
yeah,
So you got to start somewhere.
yeah. And so second thing we talked about in the newsletter, can your family provide all of the needed help? Now, if there's 3 or 4 kids and they live locally and everybody loves everybody and everybody's willing to help. One of them may say, I'll do this, I'll do that. I'll pick up mom's groceries and bring them to her house and put everything in the pantry. I'll go to the pharmacy and get that, or I'll take mom to the doctor. I'll take mom to church on Sunday. I'll take mom out to eat. You know, all of this stuff. But in this case here, it's just Bob.
Just Bob.
So he is a committee of one, and so he's got to look at, okay, what can I do? Bob may still have a job, work, got his own family, and he's got X number of hours per day. He sees mom needs help, that worries him. But
So what can Bob do to help lighten the load? Maybe he can get groceries brought to the house.
right,
Maybe he can get some meals delivered.
home delivered meals,
To
yeah,
mom.
pharmacy items.
Pharmacy items, bubble packed so that, he can call mom and say, Mom, take the bubble pack out for the morning and take all of those. He could do a Zoom or he could do FaceTime on the phone if she can manage that and make sure she's taking her medicines. There's a lot of things that you can do without actually being right there. But you can imagine if Bob's still working and he's trying to do all of this during the day, it's going to be pretty overwhelming. So we may need somebody like Kathy to step in and help, provide some help. That way mom is safe. Bob doesn't have to worry so much, right?
So, yeah, and so what if Bob? Let's talk about the outside caregivers, the Kathys of the world. So Bob says, "Hey, Mom, I met a lady named Kathy, and she's perfect in every way. I know you'd love meeting her, and Kathy's going to spend a few hours a day here helping you." Mom may say, "Great, I'd love that." Her mom may say something just the opposite of that. We see a lot of time, "I don't need any help. I'm fine. If anybody needs help, Bob, it's you. You obviously need help. I don't need help. Go away and leave me alone." So, that's tough, and we see situations like that where the
It is.
person needs help and won't allow anyone to help.
Matthew.
Kathy says, "Yes, I've missed you all. Happy New Year. I am now helping Mother make decisions. It is
Oh, wow.
her and myself."
All right.
So,
Full time
yeah,
caregiver.
yeah,
That's 24 hours a day. I mean, you're there. My mom didn't need help 24 hours a day, but she couldn't be left alone because she couldn't get out of the house if it caught on fire. So, we'll be thinking about you, Kathy. I know this is a really tough time, but
yeah.
you can do it. You can do it.
And Kathy's done it for years for people, with people, but when it's your mom, it's a little bit different. I know when it was my mom, it was this way different. And
So, what have you noticed, Kathy, that's different going from caring for other people to caring for your mom? What is different that you would want people to know?
so let's talk about outside caregivers just a minute. Sometimes, um, a person like Bob would want to bring in an outside caregiver to help with his mom. She may need to help, may not need 24/7 to start with, but a couple hours a day would help a lot.
A lot.
Maybe help her get, be there early in the morning, help her get breakfast, take her meds, get the day started off, or maybe then he needs her more at night, to take her nighttime meds,
Get ready
prepare
for
a
bed.
meal, get everything put up, take a bath or shower, get ready for bed, get in bed and all that stuff. So sometimes it usually starts one early in the morning, late at night type of thing.
Let's ask Kathy. Kathy, which have you noticed in the past? Did the people that you were caring for, did they need more help in the morning, or did they need more help later on in the day or the evening?
So a lot of times it's just finding the right fit. You interview several caregivers, and it's not, the issue's not, does this caregiver know what they're doing? Sometimes it's just a personality thing. It's just a fit. Like, does mom get along? Sometimes the person would just want a male caregiver. Sometimes they just want a female caregiver. Sometimes, I've heard things as I heard one lady once, early dementia, but the caregiver that was coming in and helping reminded her of some girl she didn't like when she was like 16 years old. And she thought this caregiver looked a lot like her, probably was her, and by golly, she didn't like it. So you never know. Sometimes it's just something like that. But so it's just finding the right fit. Maybe it's just a personality thing. Who knows? But sometimes it's money. If it's non-medical caregivers, a lot of times they're paid privately. Maybe mom doesn't have the money, or kids don't have the money.
Or
Sometimes
mom has the money and she's of a generation that went through the Great Depression and she doesn't want to spend it.
right.
She felt the impact of that scarcity mindset, and which is kind of what we're going through again with COVID.
Yeah. Some parts of the country have waiver programs, and if you qualify, you may get some sort of assistance to help pay for non-medical caregivers inside the home.
Kathy said, yeah, it's different handling the stubbornness and seeing the decline and the helplessness. She said her clients needed more help in the morning with showers, appointments, dressing changes, etc.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, thank you. Yes. So, yeah. So, yeah, I can see it would be different. I mean, if it's your mom, mom knows you. They can cut both ways,
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we've seen, people that's kinder to outside caregivers / strangers than they are to their own kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
They may not have any problem telling their kids to, sit down and be quiet and leave them alone, but they may not talk that way to, outside caregivers. So, and sometimes they do. I mean, we've seen situations where a person, especially with Alzheimer's or dementia, just absolutely does not want any third-party caregivers in the house.
And one of us is talking a lot today, and we're going on pretty long. So
We are, and
okay.
so that one of us will not talk.
No, well, we just need to get to the next point.
Okay.
Is mom's home a safe place for her to be? I was with an older client one time, and an in-home non-medical company came in and they did an analysis of the home and sent my client a printout. It was like 4 pages long of things that she needed or her family needed to do to make her house safer for her. And I thought they were some really, really good suggestions. In going back through my mind, thinking of my mom's house where she lived before she moved close to us, and then where she lived the last 5 years of her life, there were a lot of things that I noticed, and I've put that into one of the checklists that's in the Alzheimer's Survival Guide that will be coming out when, let me tell you, I am not a writer, and having to write this thing was the most challenging. It was harder than giving birth.
Oh my God.
It was. But anyway, it's almost done. So when we get it done, we'll let you know. How do we make
along those lines, if you didn't get today's newsletter and you'd like a copy of this tip sheet we're looking at, just send us an email to support@helpmehelpmama.com and we'll send you one. So
so let's go ahead and read a couple of them.
Yeah. So you was talking about his mom's home, a safe place to be. Sometimes it's not per se unsafe, but once you had a friend that still your friend, but her mom had a big old 2-story house where she raised her whole family, and nothing really wrong with the house except mom was having trouble getting around and her bedroom was upstairs. So every day she's having to walk upstairs, walk down the stairs. Lived in a little town. She loved a little town, loved the house, loved everything. For the kids, that was their home. It wasn't just the house, it was their home. That's where they was raised. But they thought, if mom continues to stay here, what's the odds of her taking a tumble down those stairs? Almost 100% certainty. So they decided, and there was a big yard that mom could no longer provide the maintenance and all that stuff. So they just had to make a decision. Which do we value more, mom or the house? Well, that was an easy one. They was ashamed to even having thought of that. But yeah, it's mom. We got to protect mom. Got to sell this house, and she moved to an independent living facility. We visited her after that.
Yep.
She loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it.
Lots of things to do.
Yep.
Okay, so a couple of tips to make sure that mom's safe at home. Does she have a roll-in shower or a walk-in tub? The roll-in shower, I think, would be the best. Not easy to do, but it would, if it's going to keep her from tripping on the tub and breaking a hip and going to the emergency room and have surgery and therapy and it's worth it. Put
I
in
guess
a
it just
roll-in
depends.
shower.
You got a friend with a walk-in tub, and she really likes that.
She really likes it. I have heard one of the nurses that we work with rail against it because, you have to get in the tub, close the door, fill up the tub, take a bath, and then drain the tub, and then you can open the door. So you're sitting there, if it's wintertime, you're probably cold and anyway, wet. Anyway, another thing, a gentleman was in here the other day, and his wife is just in the beginning stages of cognitive decline, and he still goes to the grocery store and runs errands, and he feels pretty comfortable leaving her at home. But he has installed a couple of cameras around the house, and he's got an app on his phone where he can pull it up and see what's going on at the house. So I think those are two really good things. The third one would be a medication reminder or a dose pack for the homes, for the medicines homes.
And so we talk about home care options, like if you're trying to stay at home but just need some help and maybe the money's tight, you're just looking at I got to work, I'm one of the adult kids, mom wants to stay at home, some things that may be available in your area, like a senior center. A lot of senior centers have their own transportation. They can, pick mom up, take her to senior center, stays engaged, sometimes serve meals, take her back home. Home delivered meals, you talked about that a while ago. Adult daycare works just like when your kids were little and you took them to daycare. Drop mom off on the way to work, pick her up on the way home. They keep her engaged during the day, feed her during the day. And their technology, you talked about some of that a minute ago.
Mm-hmm. If you're the adult child and you're living out of state and you don't feel comfortable with mom being there alone, you can either hire a care manager who can manage all of this that we've just gone through, or you may look at independent living, assisted living, or skilled care facility. Facility care, especially in times of COVID, would be obviously the last option, but you got to keep her safe. You got to keep her safe.
So, thank you for watching today. Kathy, thank you for joining in live. We're surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
We get on here and just open this up and do it at random times. And so we appreciate you getting on. Glad you saw it and glad you participated. So thank you for that. And for those of you that haven't signed up for newsletters, help.momcc. And if you'd like a copy of this tip sheet we talked about today, just email us support@helpmehelpmama.com. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, there's a little subscribe button. Click that, hit the notification bell, so you'll be notified, like hopefully Kathy was today. Hey, Doug and Cindy's on the YouTube. So click on that. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you're having a great day.
And for everybody, thank you for being a caregiver for your loved one. You're making a huge difference in their life. And especially you, Kathy. Thank you for being a caregiver for your mom. She is one lucky lady.